What's happening, guys? Just gonna give you a quick rundown on what's been happening. I've really been trying to get some footage to put together like an actual video of not really how to do this, but this is how I do it. But mixing long work hours with the need or the want to build this sort of to my level, I guess you would call it a professional level. God, that sounded arsey. Yeah, I want the car to be right. I don't want to have to go back and do things twice. It's just annoying. So yeah, mixing those two together, it's sort of difficult to get good clips and footage to be able to put out videos for you guys. But hopefully these little updates every now and then keep you guys happy. So yeah, let's run through what's been done since the last time. A little bit strange, I guess. Where do we start? Yeah, I guess nothing's really changed with the fuel system sort of stuff. Everything in the boot's all the same. Batteries in the same location. Nothing's really happened with the transmission. Pretty sure I brought it up in the last video. I've got really nice grey leather seats now. No more red, sort of stood out really funnily. Yeah. That's about it at the moment. I got some gauges to go in up on top there, in like the factory HSV sort of spot. I've got a wideband to suit the ethanol, as well as a voltage gauge. I think it's just a cheap digital voltage gauge. I just need a point of reference because battery's all the way back in the boot. Pumps are wired to the battery directly with a 40 amp relay and a fuse setup. So for whatever reason, this car is notorious for popping alternators. I've done one, I think 2 weeks ago, replaced another one. I don't know if I'm too hard on them, but the armature, which is the shaft that goes through, snapped at the back bearing, and that caused all kinds of voltage issues. So what I don't need is to, come on boost, we're hitting upwards of 15 to 20 pound, and alternator die, voltage drops, fuel pressure drops, motor goes bang. It's a headache, so I don't want that kind of thing. So volts gauge up there so I can monitor it, and to try and rectify sort of the over revving or the harshness to the alternator, I'm getting a 25% underdriven power bond balancer that should be here Monday. I'm going from stock. Basically, that's what it looks like on the Gen 3 alloy Ls1s. So you got your AC, this one's your water pump alternator. And when you go to an underdriven pulley setup, you actually shrink the size of this, or the circumference of this. What that then does is spins all your ancillaries 25% slower. That helps with not over revving the AC pump, not over revving your alternator. If you still have your power steering, it helps to not run those at 7,000 RPM. I can't imagine that's real great for them. What else have we got? I've moved coils. Also, the car has no AC. Don't know if you picked up on that at any point. I just never put AC back in. I lost a lot of the components when I stripped this car down for the rebuild. So just never did it. I actually pulled the AC pump out. That's what's over there on the bench. And I have a set of coils in their place. So the driver's side bank of coils are down underneath. They've actually bolted to the engine mount with a nice aeroflow bracket off that. We've got custom Aeroflow, what are they, X series or X Pro? X Pro 8.5mm spark leads. So yep, they will run there. I've got a patch harness to grab from the coil, the factory loom, and put it back up to here where it should have been. What I'm going to do with these coils, these bloody rocker covers, I don't want to spend like $600 or $700 on an aftermarket set of billet covers or cast covers that are just off the shelf. I don't really like a lot of them. They're either chrome or black or red, and I can't do that. So what I'm actually going to do is all these factory coil mounts I'm going to cut off, and I'm going to shave them flat, give the rock cover a nice sand, and then a little bit of a polish, not to, you know, a spit shine, but just to look nice and look different without going crazy and spending a lot of money. Same with this side. The coils, so leads run out of here along the chassis rail and up in front of the turbo, and I've located all 4 coils for this bank up behind the headlight, so they fit really nice up in there. I've got enough room in front of the turbo for an intake. That's it for ignition basically. Same thing with I've got a patch harness that runs up, down underneath the turbo, around the alternator, up to the factory point, which is underneath the regulator now. Next, what have we got? We'll start on the exhaust, I guess. On this side, a lot of people, when they do turbo conversions for the Ls1, I wouldn't say they cheap out, but they just don't spend the money, or they go the opposite way. If they don't cheap out, they spend ridiculous amounts of money and they buy like killer boost manifolds, which are crazy expensive. Couldn't believe how expensive they were. The pipe, I spent, I think, $180 on everything that I needed to fabricate that side of the exhaust. It actually cost me more for the header for this side. So I didn't go with a cast header. The header on this side is actually out of a VY HSV Adventurer, which is the all-wheel drive version of the Crewman, I think. I think it's the wagon, or is it the Ute? It's one of them. You guys will help me down below. So yeah, I've got a tubular HSV manifold in this side, which is going to help with flow, and it's not going to hold so much heat, which is going to help not heat soak everything else and cook leads and all that fun stuff, blow out gaskets. Let's see if I can find the other side. So if you have a set of these laying around, set of HSV headers, hang on to them, because these puppies were expensive. And I only needed one freaking side, which is really kind of a waste. So I've broken up a seat, and I'm probably just going to throw this out. But yeah, if you want to do it not really the right way, but the better way, but still keeping with a factory style header that you don't have to fabricate and swing around the bloody steering, the HSV ones are the way to go. Or you can use the cast. Your choice, your money, do what you got to do. Now, what else? You guys know about the belt routing. If you guys are going to do an underdriven pulley kit, get the full kit. If you've still got all your stuff set up as factory. Full kit's going to give you 2 belts, 4 pulleys, and the balancer. It's going to bolt in, be sweet as, not going to have to modify anything. Because mine, I've got that pulley changed, I don't have AC, that's probably about it. Oh, I don't have a bleed power steer pump, obviously. I don't need the full kit, which is really expensive. What I've done is I've just bought the underdriven pulley itself. When it gets here, I'll whack it in and I'll measure out how much, how long the new belt is going to be. Order that one from the parts shop, and then that's done. Next, well, I guess let's go with turbo. If you guys watched my unboxing video, you guys know what this is. This is a next gen 7875 from the guys at VS Racing in the States. They do some really cool stuff, and it's really not expensive. The same turbo in, actually it's not even the same. They actually, they've done a lot more with the rear housing. It's a lot bigger than AR, and it's a non-Marmon stupid bloody V-band. So you can use just a regular 4-inch V-band that you would get for the rest of your exhaust. Going off on tangent there, but the 7875 Aeroflow do, so in that boosted series, I think is slightly larger on the impeller, but it has a smaller AR rear housing, so it'll spool faster, but it'll drop off boost. So the guys at VSR knew this, and compared to their Gen 1 7875, a 5.3 and a Silverado in the States was making 700 horsepower without making any wastegate changes, without making any sort of spark or fueling changes. All they did was touch the duty cycle to make sure it maintained the same boost levels. At the same boost levels, same RPMs, it made 100 horsepower more. So they did a lot of research and they built this to suit the LS series really, really well. Now that I've sold you, you can go buy one. So yeah, I'm really impressed with it, and I haven't even started the car yet. So the quality of it's really good, and they use just easy to identify and easy to get parts. So this oil feed line is just a 70 centimeter -4 feed that I got from Marmatech, which has a M10 by 1 mil, I think, screw-in feed. On the bottom side is a -10. I've used the stainless PTFE sort of 200 series hose and fittings just because that's what I had laying around. I don't know how well that's going to go. I know it handles the feed side, but I don't know what happens on the drain side really. Drainage goes down into the timing cover. I don't know if many people, oh, can you see that? It's kind of hard to see, but just down in there, just down here, there's a fitting that goes into the front of the timing case there. Well, you might be able to see it there. And that is the drain return, so I didn't have to drill the sump, don't have to do anything silly with that kind of stuff. It actually returns straight back into the timing case and down into the sump. What else? We're at 13 minutes already. Try and keep this short as possible. What else? I'm using a GFB G-Force 3 boost controller. That's going to be mounted in a separate little thing over on the cluster so I can maintain my awareness of my boost levels. I don't need any overboost. That would suck. Speaking of boost control, another thing you guys would have seen if you saw my unboxing video, we've got a 50mm VSR. It's a Turbo Smart Progay, I'm pretty sure, copy. It seems to be decent. It was decently priced, so that's going to be fitted up here. Nice and accessible. If I need to change the wastegate springs for any reason, I don't know what springs they come with. I don't think I've actually pulled it apart yet. But so yeah, no screamer. Not going to be doing that. The last thing I need to happen is me get picked up by the police, and that spells all kinds of issues. That's my dump. Dump's already fabricated because I knew where the turbo was going to go. 4-inch. 4 inches all the way through. Got a V-band there. Comes through. Got a 4-inch cat that flicks out towards the tail shaft, and then it's going to turn back and go to the rear of the car. We have some stainless mufflers for it. They're from Racecraft. You see that? These guys, the Australian company from Perth. No doubt the mufflers aren't Australian made, but I'm happy to support an Australian company. And we got the rear circle muffler is going to go up the back, behind the rear sort of quarter underneath there, and the center muffler is going to, or the oval muffler is going to go right in the center of the car. So it should maintain a heck of a lot of flow with 4-inch. See if you can see through this thing. Yeah. 4 inches of flow. It's pretty dirty. I've had my fingerprints all over it. And it should dampen some of the harsh noises while still sort of giving me a really good growl. Same thing sort of goes for this one. Straight through. I don't know what they're packed with. I never even really cared. I just saw the Black Friday sales and went ham. So they're kind of on the expensive side, but as I said, again, Australian company, so I'm happy to do what I got to do. Yeah, that is it. That is where I'm at. Hopefully, well, yeah, probably not this weekend. This weekend I've got work Christmas function. I've got a couple of cars I'm tuning at the moment that are coming in. So it's probably going to be by next weekend, hopefully, because this needs to run before Christmas. So by next weekend, I should have another update and it should be running, and we can start working on the tuning process to swap it over to a 3-bar OS and bigger injectors, all the fun stuff like that. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.